as possible. If you've already sent your screenshot, please do not send it in again. Also, before you do anything, okay, if you're in doubt if you've sent it or whatever, please just check your sent file in your email before doing anything, okay? Thanks. Now, as usual, there will be time for questions after the presentation, so keep your comments and questions until that time. Now, with any further wait, I'd like to welcome Mr. Noel Adams, our CEO and leader of the Spotted team, and the founder of Next Level Africa. Welcome to the mic, Noel.
All right, look, I'll get straight into this because whilst I haven't got a lot to go over because we're not doing a presentation as such, I am engaged at the moment with backwards and forwards with our development team. They've just got back from the States and there's a lot of things happening there, so I want to be on the ball to make sure we get everything sorted out. I've been involved with testing for the last week and everything's been cleared, so things are happening. Okay, look, I want to just start off firstly with some information that came through to me and probably many other members about BCN. I don't really want to make any comment on where they are because I believe it's still in the hands of the courts out there. They've charged 3 or 4 of the directors of BCN with some sort of fraud that entails $722 million. And I guess all we can do is follow that through the courts. I see the site's still open, but I don't know how long that's going to happen, whether there's any notice that goes up on there. So please, you know, we don't know. We just know what is being printed out there. We've got no knowledge of what's going on. But if it has been a fraud, they certainly have fooled a lot of people out there. So anyway, look, that's where we are with BCN. So our support can't handle anything to do with that. You'll find it on the internet or contact them if they want to tell us anything about it. The UPB, look, they're still loading things up in there. They've got other products that they're loading up in there. So I'm not, I just don't have time to help with what they're doing there because we've got so much other stuff on. So if there's anyone wants to find out anything about UPB, it's best to contact them. They're running their support. I think Rosalind's in charge of support over there, so she'll get back and let people know what's happening. But if you look at the site, they're still loading things up. They've got a lot more product to load back up on there, so they've got their development team doing that now. So anyway, any information about UPB, it's best to go directly to them. The other thing too is, all right, the exchange. Now, look, with the exchange, there's an issue there to do with the support email, and members have been sending it in. They need to change it on the exchange, sending it to support and getting an error message there. So it's best to send it to admin@coinexchange.zone, and that way it'll get through. So they're running through the support system on that. They've just changed it in there, and look, the bank are very slow with giving us the information on there. So anyone wanting to put anything into the exchange in the support area, it goes to admin, and otherwise the email will just bounce back. Look, there are many things happening with the exchange at the moment, so hopefully we'll see some activity going on there between one of the areas we have out there is, as you can probably well imagine, it's the low-priced coins in both NLA and Chingaling that they're having a bit of an issue dealing with. They're trying to arrest that so that the investors feel a bit more confident about coming in and getting things done in there. So hopefully that's all sorted out. They're still working on it now. It's the support and technical team in Los Angeles to look after all of this. So they're doing it as fast as they can. It seems it's a fairly lengthy process to actually locate who it is, and then they block that member. So don't get caught listing low coins at the moment, because you will miss out on any activity as it gets going there. So just be aware of that. Even though we see them listed out there, those members will be banned. They'll have their accounts. With NLA, we are shooting for line 8. The bank have indicated that they're sending over the balances, the coin balances, for both actually line 7 and line 8. And this has been going on now for a couple of months. I've given them a bit of slack with other things that the bank are involved with. As you might have heard me talk about the medical program, the PET program. So the bank are involved with that. A lot of activity. Our development team went to the States in order to get that particular thing sorted out. So they were working with the parties in the States there, and they've managed to get a lot of that sorted out. So they had meetings on there with SpaceX, Professor Sir Peter Ratcliffe, Dr. Wolfgang Schonfeld, and Dr. Patrick Soon-Sion. So these were just a number of the people involved in these meetings. You'll see all that happen on their site very, very soon. The e-commerce, where I'm getting a report back on that, because we're looking to have the funds released for that. And as I mentioned before, they have informed me that there's now $52 billion in the account. So once they release that, we can then start to look at the site's been built, and we're just getting ready to launch it there once we get the green light from the bank. So we are hoping to get something happening on that very, very quickly. Okay, look, I'll move on now to the, look, 2 programs we're working on, really, that we want to run them together. First of all, our email program. It's running extremely well, and I do want to congratulate a lot of the members that have taken action on that, because they will see a lot of reward coming from that program. But with the email program, which we are getting very close to being able to load final details up on that and get it into some sort of soft launch to test it out. But if you look at the site's starting to shape up nicely. We're getting a bit more information onto it. Because what to mention about the email program and the PET or the medical program in the one breath out there, just so that you can understand, it's going to be a bit confusing, and that's why we want members to really follow our lead with what's going on there. There's going to be 2 sites that will be opening up to do with the medical and the PET side of it. So I won't try to explain them at the moment, but there'll be 2 sites that the bank are behind, and they will have the private equity name attached to them, and it'll be a little bit confusing for members, because some of it is investment with businesses seeking money. Some of it's investment on purchasing certificates into the medical projects that are going on. So there could be a little bit of confusion. And just to confuse that a little bit more, what we've done is that we have opened up our own community site called yourprivateequity.community. So the community site will be something that we'll be able to put there for our members, because to be quite honest with you, I don't really trust the bank, etc., on supplying correct support, and the information in there just won't be easy to understand, and people will have to ask a lot of questions about it. And so I'm not sure how their support's going to go. So we want to run our own support network. And what will happen is that, because, just remember this, that I have got no financial interest in the pet sites, in the medical, and also in the business side. The reason I'm finding it hard to describe each one is because their names are very similar, and you're going to find that out as we get going with it. But we do work very closely with the bank on that, and I've been given a fairly high involvement in what they're doing. But I just wanted to point out that there's no financial reward coming back to us from admin to run what we're doing. So we are setting up your private equity community site, and we'll be using that to run our support method through there, because we are expecting with this program out there, it's running into many billions of dollars, and I'm expecting that we're going to have in the millions of people that will join this globally. And it's really the names behind it, the main attraction with it. So what we're doing is the email program, because we own that program. It's out of the hands of the bank. We're not looking for any involvement from the bank. We have our own program team working on that, so we're not tied up with some of the dramas that have been happening in South Africa at the moment. They're on power shredding over there, and so some of the with flooding that was over there. I sent some video on flooding, and they're now talking about power cuts every day while they get this sorted out. So it's really in a bit of a mess, trying to deal with technical teams and trying to stay in touch with them, and they're pulling their hair out as well. So we've avoided all that with our building of our sites. We're not tied up with that, so we shouldn't have the issues that go on with what's happening in South Africa. So what's going to happen is that we will be using the funds that we receive from the email program to support the support network in the medical program out there, so that we've got really on top of that. What I intend to do is we'll be promoting the two programs a little bit hand in hand, and running promotions through the system. So what we're looking at people doing, as an example, in the medical program, signing up there using a Next Level Africa email in the system there, because what we'll be doing with that as well, I mean, that's supporting the whole, I mean, we're asking people to help support it, but at the same time, the support effort they're putting in is going to be earning the money through the email program. So it really has a benefit to it as well. But we are going to be running promotions. We haven't really outlined how we're going to do it, but they're going to be quite heavy promotions, and I'm leading up to what we can do as far as a major promotion there for someone to actually win a medical certificate. So we're just checking on that to see what we can do with it. I've been getting feedback on the medical certificates as well, and people are, one of the main things they've been asking is, when is it likely to be put to market? In other words, when they sell the concept to the pharmaceutical companies, when will that happen? And some of them could be a year or two, even 3 years off. So what they're going to be doing, and because I'm getting this in bits and pieces, I'm trying to be as clear as I can with it. But what they're saying to me is that, let's supposing the market cap on a product, and I'm just using any figure now, it's not targeted any particular one, but let's say it's $20 billion. How that actually works out is that everybody that purchases a certificate gets a share of that $20 billion when it goes to market. But what they're going to do in there as well, they decided on this just a few days ago, is that while they're waiting for that to go to market, they're going to pay a yearly dividend on that amount. What the dividend is, I have absolutely no idea, but they're going to pay a dividend on that. And more than likely, the amount will increase. They're talking about the amount increasing when they go to market on a product, if it takes 2 or 3 years, possibly going to 40 or even 50 plus billion dollars. Well, people with certificates will get their share of that. So it just simply means that you could even, your certificate could even be worth double on what the value, on what the estimated. The reason they can't come up with a clear amount on a certificate is because they don't know if they're going to fulfill the amount required out there. So, and then when it goes to market, but that's a good thing out there, that we'll be receiving a dividend off these certificates. So really, look, that's what. Just before I came onto the webinar, I am backwards and forwards with our program team in order to get some activity going, and I feel sure in the next 24 hours, or maybe even less, we'll have some exceptionally good news on what's about to happen. Because remember this, everything that we do there, we're actually trying to tidy it up so they're all connected to each other. We've had our experience with other companies out there, alliance partners, and I feel that the bank offer the best deal for us. It's a safer deal, and they're right behind what we are actually doing out there. So I feel that working with the bank and what we can do independently is going to be better for us than working with some of the alliance partners. I for one, am just absolutely gobsmacked at BCN. Well, it's probably something, I don't want to call them fraudulent there. They've been charged with it, but they haven't been convicted yet. But it certainly got me and a lot of other people too. There's a couple of 100,000 people involved in this $720 billion fraud out there. So, and I think that we were probably dragged into it because at the time we came into it, if members don't remember, Bitcoin was heading up towards $20,000 a coin. It became mainstream over here and worldwide. People going to barbecues. The conversation was all around this Bitcoin, and the experts saying that you should have a goal to at least achieve 1 Bitcoin out there, because there's talk about it going to $1 million. So anyone running a program that looked like it was worthwhile, and when we joined, the program been going for 3 years. So you would think that they were fairly stable by then, but sadly that the reporters are giving out false information. Anyway, look, what I'm going to do now is turn it over to any questions that you might have there. And once again, what I'm trying to do is to get back to my programming team to see whether or not we've got a goer coming up, because I've been involved in the test group. We've been testing for nearly a week now, and it's working excellent. So there's just a few tweaks that they're doing to it and loading up some more projects in there. So you'll see all of that once it opens. And we want to hold a webinar to make sure the members fully understand the best way to go about doing this, because what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that members stay within our group out there. And I want to just be clear on this as well. And because of the association I have with the bank, etc., out there, what has actually happened is that in each of the projects that we're going on out there, they're putting my link in as the sign-in link. So the bottom line is that when people sign up, this is in the masses globally, they will sign up under our group. So members getting placed in there will get the benefit of the company advertising, all advertising there, and they'll get the spillover. And I want to make sure that no one steps outside of that, because if you do, you will not get spillover. And to achieve the certificates required there, you may need quite a few thousand people underneath you. And so it's very important that you don't try to do this by yourself, because there's a number of certificates and you're not going to be able to do all of them by yourself. So it's important. All right, look, I'm going to turn this over to Angelina again, and we'll go through as many of the Q&A as we can there. If I can answer them, I will. All right, I'll hand this back to Angelina. Thank you.
Chat there, the email address that people need to send their screenshot of their payment confirmation receipt for their branded email. Oops, there. Okay. Questions that we've got. We've got a few questions coming in. And, you know, Noel, I think I'm not even going to jump in with trying to give clarity to some of these questions. So hopefully everybody can see that email address that I posted in there, okay, and have understood the interest in having to send your confirmation in. Okay, so Noel, I will set you off, started with Andrew has a question about, are these shares and certificates going to be registered with the Securities Exchange Commission? And I'll hand the mic back over to you at the moment.
Because you said earlier you will be using our payments to pay for support. They're in two different sections there, Andrew. Look, I'm not sure if I can fully answer the question you have there, but they're in two different parts. We are going to be paying for support from income received from the email. So it's totally different to the PET site. The PET site out there, you'll read all their details and what goes on, but they're not the certificates. All the details will be on the site, and from that you'll be able to read up on how the certificates work, because they're not like shares out there. It's actually right for income or something on there. So it's an investment being made in the scientific world out there. So whichever they've got it tied up. So this is between all the scientists and in the medical world out there. So once again, when the site's open, we'll all be able to see exactly. They're still loading stuff up on there. Yoda, is the dividends for the medical certificates going to be paid in cash or NLA coins? They'll be paid in cash. So one of the things out there, just to add this in, they're using the PET coin at the moment for the payment on joining the certificates out there. The bank have put it to me about using the NLA coin. One of the problems we have with the NLA coin is the people dumping the coins on there for ridiculous prices, and they can't have that going where we've got that happening. The market maker has got the coin set at $654. You have people trying to list it on there for $2. And look, that's probably been my fault, allowing for people to engage in the NLA coin and picking it up for $1. So, but once again, that will all cease. And once that ceases and we stabilize the exchange, we're going to be in a position where we can start to trade the coins correctly. Where are we now? Tim, will we be up and running by January 2020 for email? And look, I'm hoping on that, Tim. I can't put dates and times on things because of programming and stuff out there, but I certainly hope so. The medical program they're telling me that in the next 24 to 48 hours it'll be live. So if that answers your question, I'm only passing on the information, but certainly on the test site that I was on, it certainly looks ready to go. Yeah, look, there's a lot of people placing lower price coins on there, so that the security division will get onto that and block them. So that's something that I've sent another request now to get this sorted out. Tom's asked, how can we sell medical certificates? Well, they pay once you've got the certificate there, Tom. You're paid from the actually it's Dr. Patrick Soon-Sion. It's coming from his company. They will pay you on that. So so you're not having to sell it unless you want to sell it to somebody out there, but you'll have the certificate. And one of the things, the certificate is only one part of the income structure because of the very slight matrix we've built into the program. It's going to give us income from that. So the certificate is just one part of it, and I'm suggesting the certificate is quite a big part of it, but the matrix is not too bad in itself. So you won't have to sell the certificate. You'll be just simply, when it's matured and it's ready, they'll send you a check. Phil's saying, are we going to see any money before Christmas? Well, once again, we are hoping on all of that it certainly comes through, and this is why I've been focusing on running with the energy, running with the PET program, because I could see the banks and all our developers wanted to run with that. So I wanted to make sure we did get some cash for Christmas. That was the whole thing. John's asking about the offer that we put out on the BCN. Look, that's not going to affect us. All members that are involved with that, they won't be disadvantaged. We'll still honour what we said we're going to do with it. So your Line 6 accounts will be alive. And once again, I can't comment on the BCN because it's still obviously going to court, so we'll see what happens with that, but it won't affect anything that we're doing. Kerry, I just want to be sure that the last bit of information that was on Email Plus or something else, probably because I've been talking about the PET program and Email Plus in the one breath, so it might be easy to make a mistake on that, but the PET program is the one that they're talking about having it launched in the next 24 to 48 hours, and we're currently loading up the matrix into the Email Plus program, so that's well on the way for that. Joda's asking about the low price coins. The whole thing is the investors have been looking at that for some time, and it is an issue being sent back to me all the time. So hopefully we'll see that come to an end, and it will come to an end. out there. I mean, once we get enough of these people barred from the system, there just won't be anyone there wanting to do that, and then we can stabilize the coin and start using it. But it'd be very nice to use it in some of these major medical projects. And also we've got SpaceX that are coming on as well. As you well know, SpaceX is Elon Musk and his crew, so they're coming on with it. So hopefully that they see the value in using our coin as well. John's, regarding the shares, can more than one of the same share be bought on one NLA email account? Look, we'll go into all of that, but you can register more than one account in the PET site, medical sites. So we'll discuss how we go about doing that, and but you can do more, but you can only do one certificate on each account. You can't do more. You can do all the certificates on one account, but you can only do one type of certificate. And why can't the power outage in South Africa be solved with purchase of a decent generator? Yeah, I think the problem is that the generators that they've got to run, the fuel is so expensive, and the cost of running the generators, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's out of my hands out there. It's easy for us to say what they should do, but they're the ones over there doing it. And so you need to talk to the government over there about what they can do. And but our people, they're just part of the community. They're living through it, unfortunately. Dan's saying someone's bought a small amount. Well, they might have just had a small amount left over from something else that they've done and decided they wanted to use that small amount. People not depositing small amounts like you're mentioning there into the exchange. It's probably just something they've had left over. What you might find is there's concern about the PET coin being, what's happened is it's all about supply and demand. And what you're going to find, remember the PET coin, when it first was on the exchange, the first was sold for 75 cents a coin. I don't know what it's going to go to, or what people are prepared to drop their price to, but the latest I've seen on the duck, it was sitting around the $10. And of course you always get someone in that wants to jump in front of the queue, one out there. So I mean, what do they expect the next person to do? Go $9.98 and just drive the price down? But you're going to find that supply and demand on that, because there's not going to be the coins to be able to sell them cheap. So there's going to be quite a big demand on the coin. I should imagine the PET coin will certainly see $10, $15 and $20 very quickly out there. So remember this, that anybody that's purchased the PET coin now, they're in a unique position, because as I mentioned before, the likes of purchasing into a certificate, they vary. You've got them for 8 coins, you've got them up to 45 coins, and also in between. But let's assume you did the 45 coin project there. Well, anyone that's bought the coins now have bought them for under $2. So you're up for under $90 to get into a certificate that would give you about 8,000 coins return on the certificate, getting through to a level 6 certificate. And also the certificate will have a value of somewhere around $750,000. So remember this, that if the coin goes up to $10, that 45 coins would cost you $450 to become part of the certificate. I mean, it's always going to be the amount of coins. So if the coins go up, then it's going to cost more to get started with it. So any members who get started now and start receiving coins will be able to go into the next projects out there quite easily because they'll have an accumulation of coins. But having to buy them from scratch and pay, I don't know, could be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus dollars a coin, because they will certainly go up. So anyone that with the pet coins is going to see a very nice increase in them over the next 30 days or less. And you will be able to, look, we're going to be putting things in place where members can cash in their coins fairly quickly. I won't go into that now, but we're putting some things in place where members can do that, and also help the members who really have trouble dealing with the exchange on depositing and putting Bitcoin in there. So we want to try and help members out every way we can for a member to sell their coin and someone else to buy the coins. Diane, when will the email system be up and running? Look, I think I've answered that. We're loading the matrix into it now, so we are on the ball with it, but we wanted to put our energy, I mean, all my energy has been towards this medical program out there to get that going. So we are now circling back around to tidy up some of our things out there, because we do want everything going. But remember this, that everything's connected. If the medical program gets going, it's going to benefit every member in our community. The amount of dollars flowing through the exchange will certainly benefit the community, because I mentioned to you before that I receive a 2% brokerage fee on any activity in the exchange. There's already a group talking about buying $52 million worth of Petcoin from the exchange. So that would mean that there's $1 million there. That $1 million will find its way back to our members. If it's, whether it's purchasing all the cheap NLA coins off the exchange, so whichever it is, but it'll certainly come back to the members. I can't give a time frame on that, John. John's asking about when the investors will buy the NLA coins. I have no idea when that's all tied up with the banks. The banks have got the money. It's the bank that are actually be buying the coin. There are on instructions from the investors. They did a deal with them, and so when they action that, I have absolutely no idea. You'll find that the coins will take their own supply and demand. Once we are going to be using the coin in the email program, we're going to be using it in the e-commerce program. This is the NLA coin. We're going to be UPB, use the coin. The demand on the coins, and of course NLA using the demand on the coin is going to have people wanting to sell it at the higher price, because there will just be a major demand on the coin. Okay. Look, the crowdfunding and the NLA platform is something that I am definitely working on. Once again, I just wanted to make sure we had the energy going in the right place to get something going. I just need to get something happening out there for the members. Everyone's been so patient with this, and it's been a bit frustrating, but nevertheless, we will have income for everybody for Christmas. That's a given. Nigel, must we set up more and more NLA email addresses as we make additional PET payments into the medical? you will need an NLA email for each account that you open in the pet world out there, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the draw as well from the system. And if someone's drawn out of the barrel, however we choose to draw it, and they don't have an NLA email address attached to it, they will miss out. And they will miss out on some pretty hefty prizes that we're going to on offer. I'm talking about a certificate that's possibly worth $500,000 or $600,000 that we'll be putting up as a prize there. So anyone that doesn't have it on there will certainly dip out. And that's what we're using to support the support in the medical program, because we don't earn money from the medical program to do that. Jeffrey's saying, where is the income coming from for Christmas? I just mentioned about the pet site out there, Jeffrey. So that's one for starters. And there should be quite a few $1 million turnover in the exchange between now and Christmas. Luke's asking about the progress on the Chingaling side. Look, that's with the banks. The Chingaling is owned by the banks. The site, the chingaling.com, is a site they've been going to open for some time. So they want that out there because they want to do press release. Same as the medical program. There's press releases will be coming on that as well. You'll see a very heavy press release coming in on that. So the banks on their site, what they want to do is to have a transparency of where they invest their money and who is being paid out. As we mentioned before, that NLA have been granted $100 billion a year to hand out on the humanitarian projects that we have going. So a lot of this will all be listed on their website as to what's happening with their humanitarian project. That's what this is all about. That's where the banks become involved with us. It's their humanitarian project that they're running. John, must the shares be paid via the CEX or from the PET wallet? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that, John. There's no shares there. So your dividend from the certificate, I'm not sure what just what you're saying, that comes from the medical people out there. Dr. Patrick Cernsion, if that's what you mean. James says, so for example, with a TriPack, will a person need to utilize 3 different NLA branded emails for those positions? Well, yes. And I use the term TriPack just to give people an idea that you can take 3 positions. But what's going to happen out there, James and others, that people will want more than that, more positions and more accounts than just 3 accounts, because each account you can take a certificate out with it. But the TriPack would be a good start. That's all I was pointing out, to get it started with it. But there are people that will be taking more. We'll have people taking 50 and 100 accounts in the medical out there so they can get the certificates going. Maxine, Noel, can you clarify the project 1 says has 3 certificates, then do 2 certificates, and the second project they can use 2 of the NLA emails. Project 1 do it well. Can you clarify that project 1, say, has 3 certificates, then do 2 certificates in the second project? Can they use 2 of the NLA emails of project 1? Makes it, I've sort of lost myself there with it. I'm not sure what I'm reading there. So I'm only guessing now. So I think, can you clarify that project 1 has 3 certificates, then do 2 certificates in the second project. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go circle back on that. I'm not sure just what it means there. Yeah, look, the emails are a given. You'll need an Next Level Africa email on each account that you set up. And in doing that, when you set up an email account, it gets entered into the matrix. Now we're going to be able to market our website. If anyone's had a look, is yourprivateequity.community. That's our website that we'll be building for this, and we'll be attracting a lot of people that need help to understand this program, because quite honestly, it's a very complicated program, and because it actually has programs that has similar names and they run differently, people are going to be constantly contacting. As an example, I know one of the questions will be asked quite a bit out there, because they don't want it to look too much like an MLM structure. In the back office, you've got no hierarchy. So you can't see your hierarchy there. You'll see the payments come through, but you won't know what sort of hierarchy and downline you've got. They just don't want to show it as a... So they're going to have people in their own site asking that question, but we'll be able to clearly market in ours that there is no hierarchy there. Nigel's not sure I understand. Can a subscriber participate in the entirety of the medical with just one? No, you can't. If you've got one account, you can have one email. If you've got more than one account in the medical, you'll need more than one, because each email is unique to that account. Same. Look, in fact, when you see the back office in the medical program, you'll think you're in Next Level Africa, because they're virtually the same. So anyone that's familiar with how the NLA back office works, this will be a walk in the park. Alex is asking how many. What you've got to remember is that each account that you set up with the medical is they're free. You don't pay to set up an account. So once you set up the account, if you want to activate that account, you would then activate it by putting coins into it and then purchasing one of the certificates. So certificates have to be purchased. Certificate 1, then when you purchase certificate 2, one is cancelled. So you can do it like that if you wish. If you wanted to get up to a level 6 certificate fairly quickly, you could do that, but you need to have one email account for each account that you set up in the medical program. Look, some of the questions here, I'm not sure I want to touch them, so I'll just leave some of them go. So if you put a question I haven't answered, I don't have an answer for it. James, okay, will they be able to just use one NLA branded email address for all? No, each one has to have a different email. Magdi is asking to, once again, I'll just clarify that when you register for an account with the medical, you register with an email. On that account, you can purchase one of each certificate. If you wanted to purchase 2 of a certificate, you would need another account. Needing another account, you would need another email. Each account needs a unique email address to it. Luke's asking, will there be a mini exchange with the Email Plus program? We're going to run it through the main exchange there with it, Luke, and I'll go over with it there because we will be purchasing the coins from the exchange. If we just simply handed money out from the program, it wouldn't benefit the coin. So putting them back through the exchange, we'll be purchasing through the exchange. Anyone wants to sell coin can certainly do it from there. Jackie, do you have any idea on how many different medical opportunities will be coming available to us within the next 6 months? I couldn't answer 6 months from now. But Jackie, I know that there's about 6 or 7 of them there now. So that's all I know. How often they turn up, I should imagine there'll be quite a few, but look, I wouldn't have a clue how many. Yes, Nigel, one account would allow you to purchase a certificate on the 6 projects, or 7 or 8 or 10 or 20 or any of the projects that are there. You'll be able to purchase until they're not available. Once they've reached the amount in the certificate, then there's just no more available. Okay, I think we're getting close to the end now. For every certificate, do you need a separate email? If you buy into 7 projects, do you need 7 email accounts? Margaret, look, no, as I said, one account, you'll be able to get as many certificates as it's going there. One of each certificate. If you wanted more than one certificate on a particular medical project there, then you would need 2 accounts. Once again, there, Luke's saying that all TriPacks, any account. I mean, the reason I mentioned TriPack is because the way it's set up. I mean, since the first webinar, I've been getting lots of different bits of information. I tried to get the information a little bit quick last time there, and some of it was not quite correct. So we're correcting that now. So I've actually completed a complete instructional video that I just need to fine tune it again on how you go about signing up and what you do so that we can get people into being able to sign up and go for their first certificates out there. So look, as far as when the funds will be available out there, it's probably better to see it launch. Once it launches, then funds become available, because once it launches, people will be in a matrix, they'll be receiving coins, they can sell the coins, we can sell them internally, we can sell them on the exchange, so people will be able to cash out a lot of their coins well before Christmas. I'm going to hand this back to Angelina. We're at the top of the hour. I do want to thank everybody for turning up. I'll just quickly answer Nigel. Nigel's saying about each email that you have can be used to set up an account. So it's the address is a prerequisite qualification, and must that email address also be used when to set up an account? Well, you can use, that's pretty obvious. If you set up an email account name, then that would be the name. I would suggest whatever name you set up on the email account to use that as your username in the system. So you've got, things there as well. So look, we will be having some more webinars, and I will take this opportunity now to obviously wish everyone and their family a very, very Merry Christmas, and I'm sure that's going to happen. But I will want to be calling a webinar very early next week so that people can I want everyone to hit the ground running on this one. I need to get as many members in as I can before the main investor group. I'll tell you this, with the medical program, with the overall, this is not official, this is just me coming up with this. I believe that the NLA group, our group, will be 1%, if that, of the investment money coming into this. So I want to get our group in front of this group coming in, because there's some pretty big players coming into this, and when the press release goes out there won't be anyone on the planet that doesn't know about it. So I want to get our members in on this as quickly as I can, because you'll receive the benefit. Once you start accumulating coins, you're open then to do whatever you like with them as far as going into the certificates. I'm going to hand this back to Angelina, and once again, thank you everyone for turning up, and we are going to have a decent Christmas this year, I promise you.
We have absolute details. Like Noel said, we get information and when it's hard for us not to share, and then it changes. So be patient about asking your questions, and we will get the details out to you as soon as we absolutely possibly can. So thank you everyone for giving us your time and attention and your patience and your continued support. We will see you on the next webinar, hopefully very soon, as Noel said. Thank you. Good night and goodbye for now. Bye.